All right. Any requests today? Ooh. It's called gentle restorative, Joshua. What's the whole intent behind it? All right, then, my friends, I'll actually have you start on your backs in, whatever comfy way works for you. I love that you guys both have funky socks, because like funky socks is my thing. Yes, I love it. Just start bringing your awareness to your natural breath. You don't have to do anything right now. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable. If not, looking up to the ceiling. And all we're doing right now is checking in on ourselves. We're just seeing how smoothly our breath is going in and out. Are we breathing quicker than we normally do? Do we need to, take a little pause? Let's check in with our various body parts, but we're not going to do a full body scan. We're just going to focus on the parts that tend to hold tension a little bit more. So checking in with the brow first. And if you need to, wiggle the eyebrows a little bit to release some tension there, or using your fingertips for self-massage, you can do that as well. Check in with the jaw. I usually say pull the tongue away from the roof of the mouth, and that is going to immediately take some tension away from the jaw. Moving down to the shoulders, those trapezius muscles that start in our back and go up onto the tops of the shoulders. Those are muscles that definitely need a little bit of attention. Hey, Tom. So if it feels okay, if you want to, you're welcome to wiggle the shoulders or do some roundy rounds with them. As you're moving down, just kind of check in with the spine, right? Our cervical spine tends to take a lot of pressure, right? Because it's holding up our giant head. Our thoracic spine can be an area where we feel discomfort if we sit a lot for our jobs, if we, don't have the best posture, which, who does, or if you've got breasts, because those things are heavy. And then down into that lumbar spine. This is the part of our spine where, if we're not paying attention to how we're lifting things, that's gonna have to, the poor little lumbar spine has to take the brunt of that. And then just like, that silly little song, the hip bone's connected to the knee bone, like that's legit though, right? It's a silly little song, but our spine, our pelvis, our hips, our sacrum, all of those things are so interconnected that if you're having tightness in a muscle area of one, you might have some issues in the other area. So just kind of touching base, like right now, you're all on your backs, right? So you should be able to feel whether you've got some discomfort in the pelvic, SI joint, hip, lower back area. Hopefully you don't, but if you do, there are ways that we can strengthen that. And then check in with those knees and the ankles. A lot of us don't stand where our joints are stacked. And, obviously we all have skeletal differences where that could be the reason, but I know for myself, I lean. So like I'll lean into my left hip. And so that definitely throws off my entire hip pelvic area. And you might be one of those people too. And then just checking in with your heart today. You know, how are you feeling? Has it been a extra long week? Has it been a nice relaxing week? Do you need some, you know, quieter time for your soul? Making sure that we attend to not just our physical needs, which are so much easier, right? We also want to make sure that we are touching base with our inner self. And asking yourself, what do you need for your practice today? You know, we have lots of different poses and they can be practiced in lots of different ways. And so just kind of checking in right now and saying to yourself, like, you know, maybe I'll take an option if it's given to me where I work on my spine more, or maybe I need to work on my hips a little bit more. And then take 3 full deep breaths as we transition from our meditation practice to our asana practice. And my friends at home, if you have a strap or something that you can use as a strap, I forgot to mention that would be really helpful to have. We are going to start our movement practice on our backs. So you are exactly where you need to be right now. But you do want to grab your strap. And then this is a place for you to have some body awareness. If you know you've got some tight hips, you may want to have your blocks on the right side of your body, just kind of like hanging out for you. Because we're going to work on our legs and we're going to open up our hips. And so if coming to the mat, the floor, is not accessible, having those props there for you is a wonderful thing. You can also use your bolster. You know, ultimately it doesn't matter. I just want you to have support. And this is one of those places where we don't want to let our egos take over, right? Support is good. We don't need to look like all of those skinny blonde chicks on Instagram. So we are going to wrap the strap around the right foot to begin with. And you can, excuse me, you can hold this strap anywhere it feels best for you. That left leg, I know it seems like it's just going to be hanging out and going for the ride, but it's not. We're going to actively keep those left toes pointing in the sky, which is going to allow us to stretch, at least gently, into that left hip as we are working more actively on the right side. So on an inhale, we're going to start lifting our right leg to the sky, using our strap to support us, getting however far you get. Like, you want to feel sensation up the back of the leg, right? But you don't want to cramp, don't want it to hurt. So just finding that place, that comfortable edge, we call it, and staying there for a few breaths. On your next exhale, let's go ahead and drop that right leg over to the right side. So we're opening up that right hip, and that's where I'm saying maybe have your blocks if you need to rest your leg there. You can just kind of hold on to it with your strap. But then you're, you know, activating some arm muscles if you don't want to do that. Let's inhale that right leg back up to center. And then we're going to exhale and cross it over the body. So we're dropping it toward the left. This tends to be a little bit trickier. You're going to probably feel a little bit more sensation. Hopefully you can feel this traveling up past the hamstrings, maybe even into the glutes. Bring that leg back up to center, and then we're going to gently lower it back down. And then we're going to switch the strap to the left foot. So same thing, this right leg, we want to bring those toes pointing to the sky, so that way we get still a little bit of a stretch in the front side of the right hip. And when you're ready, on an inhale, that left leg goes up to the sky, and we're holding it. I didn't mention the first side, but I should have. You can put a bend in that knee. There's nothing wrong with that. And then on your exhale, let's open it up to the left side. And this is a good place for you to sort of take stock of, you know, which side felt more open. Everybody's got a side where it's just a tiny bit more open at least. Back up to center, and then crossing it over toward the right side. That's the elevator. Come on back up to center, and then lower it again down to the mat. You can let go of the strap, set it aside. And then we're going to first bring the soles of the feet flat to the mat. Your knees are pointing at the sky. And we're going to then take some knees to chest. If you prefer to use the strap across the bottom of your legs to help pull your legs to you, you can do that. Otherwise, we're just pulling those knees toward the chest, stretching it out there. If it's accessible to you, you can open up both of those hips and grab your feet. The knees are bent. We're coming into happy baby here. And once you're here, or if you can just stay in knees to chest, that's fine too. Just do a little bit of a swivel here. Do like some circles. So you're massaging into your lower back, but you're also gently opening up those hips. Good, bring those feet back down flat to the mat. And then let's go ahead and windshield wiper those knees back and forth, back and forth. Just again, opening up, releasing some tension in the lower body. Come on back to center, and then gently bring yourself up to seated in whatever way works for you. All right. So you can sit in whatever way works for you. You can have your legs crossed, you can have them straight, doesn't matter. We're going to be leaning forward ever so slightly. So if you know that that's not the most comfortable thing in the world for you, you need a little bump up, sit on top of your blanket or your bolster. And we're going to take some seated salutations. So on an inhale, arms go up to the sky. Exhale, we fold forward. Inhale, let's come back to seated. And exhale, round those shoulders back. Now, if you know you have tight shoulders, this is a place that you can even extend it. Instead of just bringing them back to straightness, what you can do is open them up wide. Okay, so that's a place where you can modify for yourself. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, seated. Exhale, shoulders. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, seated. Exhale, shoulders. Two more. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, seated. Exhale, shoulders. Last one. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, seated. Exhale, shoulders. Awesome. Give yourself a little bit of a shoulder roll or wiggle here. Just kind of continue to loosen them up a little. And then I'm going to come into a half butterfly. You can join me, or you can just stay as you are. So I'm extending that right leg, folding that left leg in. And so this is where, I'm just checking everybody's legs. This is where, if you're not in half butterfly, you're still going to be able to do this, but it's going to be a gentler stretch. And so if you do the first round and it doesn't feel good, you know you can just cross your legs back over. So similar concept, right? We're going to inhale, we're going to raise our arms. On the exhale, we're going to come forward. We're going to inhale back up to seated, but then we're going to twist to the right and exhale over that right leg. And then it's just going to be that movement where we come back up on the inhale, and fold forward, inhale, okay? So, and I'm doing this quickly because you're going to use your own breath to guide you, okay? But we'll take 3 forward, and we'll take 3 twisted over to the right. And then when you're done, you can just extend both of your legs out, okay? So when you're ready, on an inhale, raise the arms up, and you'll exhale going forward first. And use your breath to guide you. And then twisting over the right. Inhale back up. Awesome, then forward again. Awesome. And like I said, make sure you extend both of the legs, give them a little bit of movement here. I love the facial expressions you're making at me.
Maybe.
Yes. Put your glasses on. Oh, all right, let's switch legs. If you had that half butterfly the first time, do it again. And then same concept, you're going to use your breath to guide you. 3 forwards, 3 twisting to the left. So whenever you're ready. Awesome. Okay. Let's go ahead and come into tabletop. You're welcome to put a blanket under the knees. And just find your nice base here. You want to feel solid, right? Whether that is opening up your legs wider or less. You just want to find a nice comfortable base. And we're going to thread the needle. So I'll start with you, and then you'll continue with your breath. So on an inhale, that right arm is going to go up to the sky. We're opening the chest. On the exhale, we thread it under the left. And then your next inhale, we go back up again. We're going to do this 5 times. And then you settle in on that right shoulder and the right side of the head. Okay, so you just continue with your breath. You're always welcome to add anything to this. You know, some people like to open up a hip, some people like to extend a leg, or just, you know, stick with the traditional, I suppose you could call it. On your next inhale, come on back up to tabletop, and we'll switch sides. So we'll take that left side. So on the inhale, the left arm goes up. On the exhale, it threads under the right. And same thing, 5 times, and then we settle in. You can transition either into child's pose or coming down straight to the belly into crocodile, stacking the forearms on top of each other and resting your head, or opening those knees wide, push the hips back, coming down to child's pose. Whatever is more restful for you, that's the one that you should take. Awesome. And now we're all going to slither down to our bellies. If you want to put something underneath your pelvis or something underneath of like your rib cage to help make it a little more comfortable, that's cool. We're going to bring our hands just underneath of our armpits, and we're going to bring those elbows pinching toward our ribs. So we're bringing the shoulder blades closer to each other, activating the shoulders, pressing down through the pelvis and the tops of the thighs. On an inhale, we're just going to lift our head and gaze forward, coming into baby cobra. And exhale, come on back down. Inhale up. And exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. 2 more. Inhale up. And exhale down. Inhale up, and let's hold this one. And exhale down. Go ahead and release the arms for a moment here. You can come into crocodile or just whatever feels comfortable. And then we'll bring those hands back to where they were underneath of our armpits. Setting ourselves back up again, just like we were with baby cobra, only this time we're going to push up a little further. So on an inhale, we lift the gaze first, coming through baby cobra, and then pushing off of the mat. Our pelvis is still on the mat. Exhale back down. Inhale out through baby, pushing up further, and down. Inhale up, and down. Two more. Inhale up, and down. And the last one here, same thing as the baby cobra, we're gonna hold it. Make sure you can breathe fluidly, otherwise lower down. And exhale back. So back into that crocodile or whatever restful position you put yourself in. When you're ready, we're going to flip back over to our backs again. You're going to want some sort of prop with you, whether it's a block or a bolster. Ultimately, that doesn't matter. It's just going to support your hips. So have it sitting next to you. You don't have to have it in your hand yet, but you want it so you can easily grab it, okay? We'll bring the soles of the feet flat to the mat. Make sure that your feet are approximately hip width apart. You want a nice strong base here. Your toes are pointing forward. Your knees are nice and straight so they're not dipping in or out. We're going to take some active bridge, a gentler version, and then we're going to come into supported bridge. So what I like to do with my arms is I like to press them down at my sides. And so I'm like really pushing the mat with my arms. You can also wiggle the shoulders and bring your arms underneath of you if that feels better. On an inhale, we're going to squeeze the glutes and the hamstrings. We're lifting the hips to the sky. And then we're going to exhale, bring the butt back down to the mat. We're going to do this a few times. So inhale, we're lifting up. And exhale, bringing it down. Inhale up. And exhale down. This last one, lift it up. Let's hold it here for 3 breaths if you can. And then you're going to slide that prop underneath the base of the spine / the top of the butt. And then you'll lower yourself down to that prop. Once you're here, you can do any number of things. You can open up your arms, you can move your legs. Find a place where you are comfortably feeling sensation in your hips and your spine, but also that you are comfortable to sustain this for a few minutes. Awesome. Totally up to you. That's going to stretch the front of the hip. Interrupt you because you're moving super zen. But if you take the block and you slide it up just a smidge, a little bit more. Right there. That way it's actually supporting your pelvis. Take 3 more nice full breaths where you are. And before you lift your hips to remove the prop, just make sure you bring yourself to that starting point. You know, if you had moved your legs at all, bring them back to that nice stable base. And then you can lift the hips, slide the prop out, bring your spine back to flat to the mat. And then of course, anytime we ever do some sort of back bend, I always, encourage you to bring the spine in the other direction. So knees to chest or happy baby, or even just windshield wipering. Just take a little bit of any tension that might be in that lower back out. And I'll have you come up to seated so I can show you what we're doing with the next one. So I'm going to build an incline here with my blocks. So the block at the back is at the highest height in the block, and the front is at the middle height. And you want to keep, a decent distance between them so that they can support each other. And then we're taking the bolster, propping that. Okay, I usually have cork blocks, so that's not going to work. That front block should be at the lowest height, not the middle height. So once you've got this little guy built here, I just want to show you 2 different options that's essentially going to do the same thing for your body, but one might be more comfortable than another for you. So the first option is to bring the base of the bolster to basically at the hip bones. So, you just can kind of feel the little nubs in the front. And you lay down on it, and you can either put your arms up, or you can, kind of lay down on it this way. Or you're going to reverse it and bring your legs up the bolster, and then you're laying here. It's still doing the same thing. I don't find this one to be the most comfortable, but other people do. So you kind of have to feel that out for yourself. If you don't want to keep your legs straight, in this version where you have the legs like that, you can take a child's pose where you can open up the knees wide and bring the base of the pelvis to the base of the bolster and then lay down on it that way. That will be definitely gentler on the front hip area. So whatever floats your boat, my friends, go ahead and set yourself up. And just a reminder to everybody, this is your practice, not mine. If you want to come out before I cue you to do so, please never be afraid to do that. If your back is okay with it, I mean, you could just take any sort of gentle forward fold that works for you. You know, sometimes I take the blocks and I build a little table and then just kind of lean on it. Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, yeah. We don't like back bends. Not anymore. That's, yeah, that's okay. Listen, Target thinks it's 1990 again, so maybe your back should too. We'll take 3 more breaths here. Good, I'm glad you all came out of that nice and carefully. Dee, what is that cool little thing under your knees?
A knee mat.
You know they made those. I want one.
It's a game changer for me because these are just horrible.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, I need like 3 of them.
You know, body mat. So we're gonna take a forward fold, and you can kind of do this in a number of different ways. I was, you know, trying to be slightly quiet, telling Jonna that sometimes what I'll do is I'll create like a table here with the blocks and the bolster, and just finding a nice comfortable seat and leaning forward. You know, if that's something that appeals to you, you can do that. If you know that there's a different forward fold that you prefer, you know, if that's butterfly or, you know, wide leg, that's up to you. You know, it doesn't matter to me. I just want your spine going in the opposite direction of what it was. We took a back bend with that first one. We're forward folding it with this next one. So whatever one works for you, on an exhale, you can lean into it and then we'll settle in. Josh, are you sleeping? Probably is.
It's not nap time. We're doing a forward fold now.
This is not yoga nidra. We're not sleeping. Joshua, do this. Crisscross applesauce. Completely. Taking 3 more breaths here. And of course, any transitional movement that works for you, go ahead and take that. You're going to need your bolster for this next one. Theoretically, you could use your blanket if the bolster feels too high for you. You know, you could take the blanket and sort of roll it into, you know, a thicker round thing, but that is lower than this. That'll be up to you. I'm just going to cue for my left side first because it's here. You'll take the bolster and it'll come perpendicular to the left hip. And then your legs, what I usually cue is for you to drop both of the knees toward the bolster, but that might not feel good for your hips. And so what you can do is you can either leave them straight or, you know, you can take a half, you know, one of the knee is bending and one of the knees is straight, you know, figuring it out, you know, what feels good for you. But the first step is to come down on that left side. If you're comfortable here, this is where you stay. If you want to take an optional spinal twist, you can lift up a little bit, turn your head, and come down on the right side of the head rather than the left side of the head. But that's optional. Yep, perpendicular. Yep. And then you just kind of like scooch down on your left side body. Yep, there you go. Perfect. Yep. If that feels good, if not, straighten your legs. And then you just lay down on it. Yep. And if your head is too low, you know, put a blanket underneath of it. if you took that optional twist, bring yourself back to that starting point. And then on your next inhale, gently bring yourself back up to seated. And you can either switch the prop to the other hip, or you can turn your body, whatever works for you. And then, of course, when you're ready, take that opposite side. Same thing as last time, if you took that optional twist, bring yourself back to center. And then at this point, if there are any other poses in your practice you'd like to do, you're welcome to do so. Otherwise, you can go ahead and transition to your final resting pose of choice. And I'm gonna come grab the straps because it gives me something to do while you are in Shavasana. Start bringing your awareness back to conscious breath. Inhaling fully and exhaling completely. Start inviting gentle movement back to your body, beginning with fingers and toes, wrists and ankles, arms and legs. When you do feel ready, I invite you to come to your side into a fetal position for a few breaths. And at your pace, gently making your way back to a comfortable seated position. Bringing hands to heart or to your lap, closing your eyes or lowering your gaze, gently bowing your head. Take a moment right now and show yourself appreciation for making your practice and your self-care a priority today. Remind yourself that wherever you are, both in your life's journey and your yoga journey, you're exactly where you need to be right now. You're exactly who you need to be right now. You are perfect, just as you are in this moment. I thank you all so very much for joining me this morning and allowing me to guide you through your practice. Thank you, friends. I appreciate you. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Bye, online friends. See you soon.